Hello and season's greetings. My name is Christina Neely. Welcome to another episode of Bville Live. Today I am shooting from Sandbridge Beach in Virginia Beach, California. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Today we're preparing for a Christmas party and we're going to serve several things on our menu today. So I wanted to show you some quick and easy ways to prepare for the holidays, whether it's for Christmas or whether you're having a Hanukkah event. Any of these things will go great. So the first thing we're going to be preparing today is a 5-layer bean dip. You're going to need tomato, avocados. I'm using light sour cream to cut back on some of the calories since it is the holiday season, and a can of refried beans. So one of the things that makes this dish so beautiful is to use a clear plate. Now I'm at my summer house, so I don't have all the utensils I normally have, so I'm going to use a pie plate. But any kind of a glass bowl is fine, a salad bowl, a pie plate, or anything like that. And I'm going to start with layers, but before I do that I need to do some prep. I'm going to chop up my tomatoes and my avocados, and we're also going to add some shredded cheddar cheese to that and some sliced black olives. So I'm going to get prepping. I'm going to show you how to start the prep, and then I'm going to show you some of the other things we're going to be making today. On our menu today is the banh mi sandwiches with the pickled carrots and radishes. You can use those, the recipes that I already have online for those, and I'll shoot some other videos. It's going to be a combination holiday video today for some great appetizers. And I brought down my box of greens from Syracuse from the Brady Farm, and I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful Christmas tree out of the greens. That's a wonderful appetizer. Alright, so let's get started. So one of the first things you're going to have to do is prepare your avocados. Okay, so I got some really nice ripe avocados. The way that you can tell an avocado is ripe is to feel it. And if as you can see, if you push it in with your finger and you have a slight indentation, it's perfect. So what you want to do with your avocado is you want to get a knife and slice it in half. A lot of people are afraid to make avocados from scratch. Guacamole, it's super easy. You don't really need to buy the store-bought, and you don't want the chemicals. So you just cut it in half like that. Get a spoon, pop out the seed. My son loves to use those seeds and put 3 toothpicks in them and make plants out of them. We have them all over our house up in Baldwinsville. Next, you're going to get a small bowl. Take the avocado and just use a teaspoon if there's a small avocado, or a tablespoon for a large avocado. You're going to follow the outside of the avocado. As I always said, nature always makes it easy for you to prepare fruit and vegetable dishes. And you're just going to scrape that out, okay, until you're left with the shell. That can go out in the garbage can. You're not going to want to put that down the disposal because that would ruin your disposal. And do the same thing with the other side. So I'm going to use 4 for this. Usually you only need about 2, but these avocados were a little small. The reason I got them was because they were so ripe, they were perfect. The larger avocados at the store that I went to yesterday were still pretty green. So you want a dark skin on your avocado. That shows that it's ripe. And you want to make sure that if you get the stem caught in there that you take that out, because that's not going to be very tasty. And you really don't need to add anything to it. Just the avocado itself is going to be fine for the bean dip. So once I get these layers, the ingredients for the layers prepared, we will start with our refried beans, then a layer of avocado, then sour cream, and then the cheddar cheese, and then repeat the layer. And when I get ready to put that together, I'm going to show you what that looks like. My tomato I'm going to chop up next, and I've showed you how to make tomatoes in my video. I'll do that real quick for you now. Super easy. You're just going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to cut this in wedges like this. Okay, and then because that's going to be sprinkled on the very tippy top of the layer dip. So you don't want real big pieces. You're just going to want little tiny squares about that size, okay, to go across the top. And you also sprinkle your black olive slices on top too. I'm also going to, since I have so many greens from Brady Farm, I'm going to rinse some of those salad greens off, and I'm going to put a layer of those at the very top. That'll look really festive with the green and red. You don't have to add the lettuce on, but we have a decent crowd coming, so I think it's going to be a big hit. And I'm really excited about using greens from Brady Farm for my Christmas tree. And for that one, you're going to need puff pastry. You'll cook your greens the way I told you to prepare them. You can watch my preparing greens video. And I'm letting them drain right now. I made them this morning with the bacon, onions, and garlic that I got from Brady Farm. I rinsed my greens, I chopped them up, and they're in a strainer, straining right now. And then about 15 minutes, about a half hour before the guests come, I'm going to put that together because it doesn't need much time to bake, and I want it to be warm when the guests arrive. So I'll show you what that's going to look like in a little bit. So this is kind of a combination video because it's going to have several appetizers on it. And the reason I'm doing this is because when you prepare for a party, you're multitasking. So if you don't like one part of the video, you can speed through it. But I'm just doing the prep for it, so you know what I'm doing today. So I'm going to just chop my tomato up like that. That's going to go in a bowl, and I'll put that on top of my bean dip with the black olives. I'm going to wipe that off so my avocados don't slip off. All right, so I'm going to finish chopping. You know how to chop, so I'm not going to make you watch my chopping, and then I'll be right back. I've done all my prep work for my 5-layer bean dip, and now I'm ready to assemble. So for my first layer, I'm going to take some refried beans. Now, if you don't have refried beans or you want to make them from scratch, that's fine. All you're going to do is just take some beans and mash them. Sometimes it's fat in the refried beans that you get from the store, but if you look carefully, sometimes you can just get beans, and these just have beans and salt on them and spice. So that's why I'm using them today, because I don't have all my spices that I normally have with me. And you can add any kind of chili spice that you want to it, or if you don't like a hot dip, you can just make it without. So for the first layer, I'm just going to put the beans in the dish, and I'm only going to use half a can so I have enough for my second layer. And you don't make the layers real thick, because some of the beauty of the 5-layer dip is actually how it looks. And I'll hold this up to show it to you in a second. So once you get the beans in the plate, you're going to take I take a clean spoon, and I'm going to smash them down so I have an even layer. So it'll be 2 layers, and I alternate by color. So since I'm putting the beans down first, but kind of reddish, I'm going to put a layer of green on top of that, and then a layer of white, and then the cheddar cheese layer. And then you're going to repeat the same thing. The tomatoes and the black olives go last. This is a big hit. I always see it at parties, and people really like it. You just serve it with, you can serve it with toast, or toasted bread, or you can serve it with chips. Okay. And since I'm going to use the spoon again for my guacamole, I'm going to rinse it off. I don't want to waste anything. And then one of the other things I'm going to do, because I want to make sure that I have a nice design to look at, I'm going to take a damp finger, and I'm going to run it around the edge of the bowl. like this. And that way it'll make a nice clean design. Okay? So see how clean that comes out? And then I'm going to take half of my guacamole. Now I transferred my guacamole out of a bowl after I mixed it into a plastic container because I'm going to seal half of it. I'm waiting for my son and his fiance to get back from the store with the cheddar cheese and the olives that I forgot to pick up last night. And I don't want my guacamole to brown. So I'm putting it in the container because if they don't get back before I finish assembling this, I don't want it to turn brown. So I'm going to put the lid on it. You can also add a little bit of lemon juice to it, but you know, if you're away from your house or something and you don't have anything with you, you know, you just have to improvise. Okay. So then I take my spoon again. I'm leaving it a little bit wet because that'll keep it from sticking. And I'm just going to smooth that out right on top of the bean dip. And if it starts to mix it a little, it's not a big deal. You just want to work it out towards the edge so that you can see the green from the edge of the bowl. And usually if you have a uniform bowl that's the same size as opposed to a long flat one, it makes it a little bit easier. But this seems to be working nicely, so I'm not going to worry about it. And I do use my fingers when I cook. As long as your hands are clean, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, again, I'm taking a damp finger, wet finger, and I'm going to go around the rim of the bowl so I get a nice smooth edge. And as you can see, that's a nice flat edge, and you have a nice green rim on there. And it doesn't matter if it's not perfectly level on every side, as long as you get it in there. Okay, and I'm going to put my sour cream on next, and then the next layer will be the cheddar cheese once I get that. So I gave my future daughter-in-law Tiffany some of the banh mi this morning before they left to try it, and she absolutely loved it. She's been hearing about it for some time. She watched my other video and she said it was the bomb, so I'm happy about that she liked it. Now if you find that your layers got too soft, you can also put them in the fridge to firm up, which is what I'm going to do in between while I'm waiting. So the sour cream, I want to scoop it out around the bowl, and that should be enough. So I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 tablespoons. Okay, about half a container, and this is a 16 ounce container, so about 8 ounces of sour cream I'm putting down. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the guac and the bean layer dip. And if you find you run out of one layer and you can't, you don't have enough to do a double layer, it's not going to really matter as long as you can get those colors in there. It's not going to affect the taste at all. It's really just for how it looks. So you work from the center, smooth your way out like, you're frosting a cake. As long as you get it out towards the rim, your layers will look nice. Okay. And this is a quick and easy dip. And it's a hit at the party, so I'm happy about that. And again, I take a damp finger, I smooth my glass edge. if you get too much on one finger, God gave you 10 digits. You can use another one. All right. So there you go. So you have your refried beans, your avocado, and your sour cream. And once my son and his fiance get back from the store, I'll show you how to finish this up. I was joking with him because when we lived in Virginia Beach, every year he prayed for snow. And we moved to Baldwinsville and it's been doing nothing but snowing. So he said to me a couple weeks ago, he said, I really miss everybody in Virginia Beach. Do you mind if we go to Virginia Beach for Christmas? And I thought, how ironic, we finally have a white Christmas and we're heading to the beach. But that's life. I'll be back in a few minutes to finish up. Okay, so I let my dip set up in the refrigerator. As you know, we started with the bean dip, the guacamole, and the sour cream. And the reason I put it back in the fridge is because the sour cream was getting a little bit soft. This way, it'll hold up a little bit better when we put our second layer on. So now I'm going to add my cheddar cheese on top of that layer of sour cream. And basically just take a handful, sprinkle it around. Like that. And then we're going to add our rest of our refried beans. And for this layer, you can make sure you get it close to the edge. That way you don't have to press too hard on the center layers to spread it out. Sometimes the bean layer tends to be a little bit stiff, and that's okay. Just work around it. Okay, and just about done with that layer. And then we'll go back to working on the rest of our appetizers for the party. And I'm going to have my beautiful daughter-in-law Tiffany join me for when I make my Christmas tree. I've been blessed with two wonderful children that are both doctors, and we came down here so they could visit some of their friends that they went to school with. And they're going to come tonight and enjoy all these wonderful festive meals. Okay. So when I put the bean dip on, as you can see, it was it's kind of in pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to smooth it down. I'm not going to press too hard because I don't want to swirl the dip. I just want it to be in layers. And you can actually add canned beans at this point too. You don't need to necessarily use the refried beans on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and add my guap. Because this is my second layer, I'm not really that concerned about getting it as smooth as I did the bottom layers. So if it swirls a little bit, that's fine. And since the guac is green, you know, even if your sour cream gets a little bit green, that's okay. So I'm just going to smooth that out. And you can see that the avocado helps to soften that bean layer. So it's going to make it a little easier to spread that layer around. So just, you know, take your time. Kind of like they do in the pizza shop, start in the center and work your way out to the edges. So the whole thing with cooking is patience. If you're not patient and you're in a hurry, that's when you're going to make mistakes. So make sure you do as much prep as you can before your party. Like I did this morning, I cooked my meats. I got everything together. I was fortunate that my son and his fiance were able to run out because, you know, you always forget something at the last minute. And of course, I forgot the cheese, but they were good enough to go out for me. So, okay, and the last layer is going to be that layer of sour cream. Okay, and again, I'm just going to dollop that around. And as I said, I used the light sour cream just to cut back on some of the calories. I don't even think people will notice the difference. But you know, wherever you can cut a few calories over Christmas is really good. So then you're going to take that, smooth it around again, because that's your final layer. So you want to be really careful when you do this layer, not to bring the other layers up. So just work from the middle, push to the outside. And then what we're going to do is we're going to top it with sliced olive and pieces of tomato. And if you want, you can even leave a little ring of green around the edge. Since this is a Christmas party, it might look a little more festive like that. And then people can actually see what it is that they're eating. Okay, so I have my layer like that, and like I said, the top layers doesn't matter because what you really want to see is that pretty division on the sides. So I've chopped my tomatoes up as I did earlier, and now I'm going to chop up my black olives. Some people leave them whole on the top. I prefer to slice them. I think it looks a little nicer. So the easiest way is to just drain half your can. That way you can easily access your black olives. And then you're going to take them down on the slit cutting board, and you're just going to slice them up. And then you just drop them on the top like that. This is going to be beautiful. And then I'm going to put some plastic wrap over top, so that'll be another appetizer that's done and ready to go. So the cucumbers are in there, they're done. My meat is done for my raw meat. And then I'm going to work on my Christmas tree and my pizza rolls and my, what else am I making? I make a list. Hello, welcome to another episode of Bville Live. Today I'm planning for a party. This is a holiday party, Christmas party, and I'm preparing appetizers. I'm going to combine the video and then some of the videos I'll separate out so you can use it at different times. This is a super easy idea, and I really like the ideas because the colors that I'm going to be using today are very festive. I took some cucumbers that I sliced up and peeled the skins off of, and I have some grape tomatoes. Now at the store I couldn't find the red ones, but I have the orange ones, they'll do. So what we're going to do is you're going to slice your cucumbers down, and you're going to put them on a plate. We're going to put a dollop of mayonnaise on it, and then put a hat on top of it, and they're going to look like little Christmas hats. So first I want to prep some of my little tomatoes, and these are nice and firm. So I'm going to count out how many I'm going to put on my plate here first. So when you do this, you want to slice your cucumbers about a quarter to a half inch. You don't want them too thin because otherwise they're not going to be able to hold the mayonnaise. Now you can also use sour cream for this, and originally I was going to use sour cream, but I don't think I'm going to have enough since I'm using my 5-layer dip. So I had some mayonnaise, so I figured I'd do that. So I'm just putting it on a plate, about that many. So I have 3, 6, 9, about 15, okay? So that means I'm going to need about 7, 8 tomatoes that I'm going to slice in half. And you want to make sure your tomatoes are firm. If they're too soft, they'll fold and they're not going to look very nice. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 14, and one more. All right. So now I'm ready to assemble, and this is going to go real quick. So I'm about 3 hours out from the party, so I should be okay. So I'm just going to take a small amount of mayonnaise and top each one of them. And I like these little mayonnaise containers here because you don't need to mess with a spoon. It makes it really easy. Do this. So you're going to put, I'm guessing about 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon on the cucumbers, and just make an end plate full to see how they go over. If they're not going, you know, if people aren't eating them, I'm not going to mess up a whole lot of them. And then you just take your tomato half, and you're going to put it right on there, and it's going to look like that. I thought that looked really cute. Kind of thought of it in my head the other day. I was looking at vegetables and thinking about what would look nice in a buffet. And as I said, you can use sour cream for this. I'm at my summer place, so even though it's winter, because we decided to come here for Christmas to visit friends, so I'm actually shooting from Sandbridge. So if you ever want to go someplace nice, go to Sandbridge, Virginia. It's in Virginia Beach. I have a place that I rent out down here, and you're welcome to come. It's called Tropical Breeze, and it's a beautiful condo. You can see it online, C203 Tropical Breeze. Just Google Sandbridge Realty. Okay, that's simple. That took all of not even a 5-minute video, about 4 minutes. So that's going to be one of our things today. I might put a couple more. And that'll be one of the things in our buffet. All right, I'll see you back to finish up.